Many people love the idea of a refreshing midday nap, yet when they finally lie down and close their eyes, sleep simply doesn't come. This difficulty isn't a sign of weakness or poor discipline. It's usually the result of how the mind and body respond to stress, environment, and daily rhythms. Understanding why some people cannot nap easily reveals how interconnected emotional states, physical patterns, and lifestyle habits really are. And the encouraging part is that once these barriers are understood, they can be softened or overcome with gentle, realistic adjustments. One of the most common reasons people struggle to nap is anxiety, sometimes obvious, sometimes subtle. When the nervous system is activated, the body is essentially in alert mode, scanning for tasks, problems, or future responsibilities. Even if the person feels exhausted, the brain continues firing rapidly, making it hard to transition into the calm, drifting state that light sleep requires. This kind of tension can come from work stress, academic pressure, personal concerns, or simply the mental load of juggling responsibilities. As the mind stays busy reviewing worries or planning the next steps, falling asleep becomes almost impossible. It isn't that the body doesn't want rest, it's that the brain feels it must stay awake to stay in control. Yet this challenge also highlights a positive truth. Once stress is reduced, even slightly, the ability to nap improves dramatically. A calmer mind naturally finds its way into rest. Busy or noisy environments add another layer of difficulty. Many people cannot nap simply because their surroundings never give the body a clear signal that it is safe to relax. Bright lights, talking coworkers or classmates, phones buzzing, or simply the pressure of being in a public or work setting can keep the brain from fully letting go. Humans are wired to stay alert when they sense movement, noise, or potential interruptions, which is why napping comes so easily in quiet cultures with designated rest periods, but feels nearly impossible in high-paced environments. The good news is that small environmental cues, like dimming the lights, putting on calming background noise, or reclining in a familiar space, can teach the brain to interpret that moment as a safe window for rest. A more supportive environment can make an enormous difference. Overthinking is another reason napping eludes some people. The moment the body lies down, the mind may treat the quiet as an opportunity to process thoughts that were pushed aside earlier in the day. Instead of drifting into sleep, a person may mentally replay conversations, revise to-do lists, analyze problems, or fantasize about future plans. This mental activity keeps the brain in a high-frequency state, making it difficult to slip into the slower, more rhythmic patterns needed for sleep. But this habit also reveals a strength. People who overthink during naps often have active, analytical minds, which means that establishing a simple calming ritual, like deep breathing, soft music, or a consistent pre-nap routine, can gently guide their thoughts into a more restful flow. Over time, the mind learns that this moment is for restoration, not rapid processing. Irregular sleep schedules can also make daytime napping challenging. When someone goes to bed and wakes up at unpredictable times, the body's internal clock struggles to align with natural energy waves. Instead of experiencing a clear early afternoon dip in alertness, the person may feel wired or restless. The circadian rhythm thrives on consistency, so when sleep timing fluctuates wildly due to studying late, shift work, weekend socializing, or stress, napping becomes harder because the body doesn't recognize the cue. Yet this obstacle also offers an opportunity. Stabilizing sleep patterns, even by a small margin, strengthens the body's natural rhythm. Once the internal clock becomes more predictable, napping often becomes easier and more refreshing. There's also a psychological barrier that many people overlook: the pressure to nap successfully. If someone feels they must fall asleep quickly or maximize their rest before returning to responsibilities, the nap becomes a task rather than a relaxation. This performance pressure activates the nervous system and makes rest even harder to achieve. Paradoxically, giving yourself permission not to fall asleep, simply to lie down, breathe slowly, and rest, often makes sleep more likely than forcing it. The brain relaxes when it stops feeling judged. What emerges from all these factors is a reassuring insight. People who struggle to nap aren't broken or incapable. They're simply living in bodies and environments that haven't yet aligned with the conditions needed for quick rest. Whether the barrier is emotional tension, environmental noise, cognitive activity, or an irregular internal clock, each challenge has a gentle pathway toward improvement. With small adjustments, Slightly earlier bedtimes, calmer environments, consistent rituals, or stress-reducing habits, the ability to nap often blossoms naturally. And once those barriers soften, the body remembers how to rest. A short nap becomes not just possible, but deeply restorative, offering calm, clarity, and renewed energy. Napping is a skill that the mind relearns through comfort, consistency, and self-compassion, and the effort to understand these challenges is already the first step toward overcoming them.